Hey there, everyone. Dr. Beth Westie here, and I wanted to come on and talk about cortisol levels and how do you really know when your cortisol levels or your stress levels are improving. We do testing for cortisol, and this is either if you are in the 12-week challenge that I have or working with me in a one-on-one level. We do the Dutch test, which tests your adrenal function as well as how your body is storing cortisol and how it's using cortisol. Very, very helpful information, especially if these things do not correlate with each other. Then we have a lot of heavy lifting to do for your system, for your adrenals. Yes, yes. But when you start on this path of improving your cortisol levels, and one of the things that I always tell women is it's a 50-50 of internal and external stuff. Internal and external, 50-50 split. I have literally seen the results of this on tests, on like the straight hard numbers. Like you can't fake this, can't make this up. This is what it is, right? And this is something where if you are taking all the right supplements, if you're doing all the right things, and you're like, okay, I'm eating really healthy, I'm taking all the best stuff in the world for stress, but why is it not improving? Because the other 50% of it is the external. It's the external factors. Do you still have a super stressful job that wakes you up in the middle of the night and your brain is like from stress at work? That's half of it, right? Are you in a bad relationship that's causing you a lot of stress? That's the other half of it. Like you can't eat cleaner just to combat I was going to say a terrible relationship, but a tough relationship that's causing you all this stress. You can't do it, right? It's equal, 50-50 internal and external. So you need to keep that in mind when you're looking at improving these things. Um, so that's, but that's something we go into. I have more resources on my YouTube channel, which is called Dr. Beth Westie. You can subscribe to that to stay updated on everything I have. I have more resources in my books, The Female Fat Solution, The Female Menopause Solution. These are on Amazon. This talks about how to eat for your cycle and your other hormones. And this talks all about perimenopause and menopause. And realize that if your hormones are shifting and changing, your system's also going to have a different response to cortisol, which is also super fun. Yeah. So how do you really know it's improving? Well, it's not something that happens overnight first, right? Secondly, realize that if you have other complicating factors, it can take longer. And that, again, depending on where you're at with your hormonal cycle, might not be a good time. If you're like on day 26 of your cycle and you're not feeling great and feeling really stressed out and you're feeling like, oh, why isn't this improving or why am I not, losing weight? That's not a time where your body's really going to be focused on losing weight. Not the main function and goal of it, right? So keep those things in mind and your overall health when you're looking at this. But when you're looking at, improved cortisol, how do I know that this is getting better? What are some signals that I can see? Some of them are just kind of basic feeling better. That's the main thing to look for. Do you feel better? Do you feel better? Is your energy increased? Do you have more energy in the morning when you wake up? Do you notice that you have energy sustained throughout the day? Do you have better recovery from workouts? I just talked to somebody the other day. This was super fun. We talked about how her cortisol levels were improving and everything. And she said, you know what? For being a teacher and having the school year start again, normally I would come home from teaching, crash on the couch for at least an hour, hour and a half before I'd get up and start making dinner. And she goes, now I come home from work and teaching and, starting up, this is a really stressful time of year and super stressful right now for teachers, of course. And she's like, I just still do things. I can come home from my work day. That's better recovery. This is work, recovery from workouts, but also recovery from her work day. She's not having to literally fall asleep or crash and knock it off the couch for an hour and a half. That's a big deal. That means her system can handle all the stressors of everything all day long that much better. Increase stamina, be able to do activities and continue to do activities or whatever else it is that you need to do, right? And not have it wear you down and not have this stress take you down and out. That's the other thing. A lot of times we don't even realize that, oh my gosh, yes, I had this really stressful day or this really stressful event. And not only did it make me tired or fatigued later that day, but I also had a tough day the next day. So when your system can have that stamina, that is a huge improvement for your cortisol levels and you're on the mend, right? And then it's not going to be contributing to you gaining weight anymore. A steady heart rate. So this is a steady heart rate during the day that you don't feel your heart pounding. You don't feel like you have to recover from having a stressful phone call or conversation or whatever it is, right? Having your heart rate maintain. This is, just some good biometrics to track, right? What's your heart rate when you wake up? What's your heart rate during the middle of the day? What's your heart rate, when you go to bed? All that stuff. It tells you how well you're handling stress by how fast your heart is beating. Yeah. And also improving your sleep, just your sleep quality increasing. Again, when your brain can wind down at night and really have that deep, restful, restorative sleep, it means that your body's cortisol patterns are improving because your circadian rhythms are improving. Those are connected. Circadian rhythms and cortisol patterns connected. So having better sleep is another big key that your cortisol levels are improving. hmm One of the other things that I hear from a lot of women is that they notice, like, oh my gosh, I'm not yelling at my kids anymore, or I'm yelling way less at my kids. My husband told me that I'm just in a better mood overall, etc. Or I can feel that my body doesn't get all revved up after this work meeting like it normally does. You can feel your system respond differently when your cortisol levels are improving. And again, it is twofold, the internal and the external. So if you have that stressful job and you're like, well, I can't change that, then it's really important that you do all you can to work on your internal response to cortisol to make sure your system is functioning as best as it can. Yeah. So that's what I got for you guys today. Please let me know if you have any other questions. I do have other episodes on this on my podcast, The Female Health Solution. So if you have any other questions, put them in the comments. Let me know if you want me to do a deep dive on something like how is sleep and cortisol connected, or if you want me to talk more about the circadian rhythms and weight loss, tips with that. Just put it in the comments. I'm more than happy to, deep dive into that because a lot of the questions that I answer here are based on questions that you guys send me. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. Let me know if you need anything else. Otherwise, I will see you later.